there's a recent trending article on LinkedIn from BBC in the UK that talks about this phenomenon of video conferencing that really drains our energy throughout the day. And I think a lot of us relate to it, because in the beginning, when we started to Zoom all day, it was kind of interesting, it was kind of new, kind of getting the hang of it. But a few weeks in, and we're starting to kind of zoom out a little bit, right? I want to go over some of the points that the article makes, and then some of my reactions. The biggest point from the article is that being on video is performing. And it's not easy to perform throughout the entire day, because you have to look decent, you have to dress appropriately, and then you have to also process the nonverbal cues from other people, which may take longer and which may be more difficult to do, particularly if you have a large group of people on your virtual meeting, because you can't really interpret the person's expression to understand what do they think about this idea I'm just sharing via video, as well as you do when you're in a face-to-face interaction. So some of the solutions that the article offers that's trending right now on LinkedIn are that you have to stop requiring people to be on video. Let people be a little distracted. Let them go on Zoom. Let them not be on video. Which also ultimately means you don't have to have that many Zoom video conferences. You can just make a phone call sometimes still. Not every single meeting needs to be a Zoom video call, which I completely agree with. However, because Zoom video calls are the closest simulation of a face-to-face interaction, it's as close as it gets, I think that we need to undergo a transitional period, and really adapt to being on video. We have to get used to it, be natural, and make the most out of its capabilities. But by no means would I recommend not requiring video. In fact, we need to require and encourage people to be on video if you need that connection, personal connection. If you don't, then just keep it to a telephone conference. Keep it to a teleconference. You don't have to be cool or seem cool or to have a badge of honor. Being busy on Zooms is not a badge of honor that you have to have, and have Zoom video calls back to back to back. And that's one of the points that the article makes, that people's energy is drained after back-to-back Zoom video calls. So you have to mix and match your communication formats, some of which could be an email, others can be a phone call, or a teleconference, or even a letter. Small versus large groups also impact the level of interaction, the level of engagement and connection. The more people you have, the less personal it becomes, the more challenging it becomes to really connect with someone via video. And I completely agree with that point. So keep your meetings to a minimum amount of people, because you want to make meetings as memorable and as productive as possible. One way to do that is to make them relevant. So invite the relevant people, only the people who are relevant to that video call. Taking breaks is incredibly important, which we're now trying to we're realizing. Now, as I mentioned, not all of your Zoom conferences have to be in one day. You can spread them out over a week. Also, I would limit your uninterrupted focus to 60 to 90 minutes maximum. And then introduce breaks every hour or so, hour and a half, and the breaks should be about 10 to 15 minutes each, during which time you can get up, stretch out your knees. Over the years, the knees take a big toll. So you need to straighten out your legs a little bit. Get up, move about a little bit. Do some exercise. Come up with a routine. One point that the article does not mention is our position during a video conference. And my suggestion, based on my own experience as well as research, is to get up during Zoom calls. Not just during breaks, but actually get up out of your seat. Don't just get up, but actually feel free to move a little bit during your Zoom video calls. Because when you simulate motion, you are able to animate and elevate your ideas and what you communicate. When you use gestures a little bit more on Zoom video calls, people can easily interpret your emotions, and they can trust you as a result more, and you are able to evoke other people's emotions that way, and so connect, despite that challenge of interpreting nonverbal cues virtually. So, and I have a video that I've devoted to this on my YouTube channel. Why you think better and you're able to connect better when you move, when you get up. So don't require everyone to be seated during your Zoom video calls. All right? That will help with the solutions. So a lot of the points that this article makes, I agree with. But I don't agree with some of the recommendations and solutions. That's why I wanted to make this video for many of you. So, again, pause. Pausing is important throughout the day. Another point that the article makes is that even when companies do virtual happy hours via Zoom, it's still a performance because people have to be on video. And so I agree with that. I completely agree, but it depends on the tone of the meeting that is set by the person who leads it and by whoever moderates it along with that leader. And also, it's a function of our adaptation. For example, I go live every Monday morning at 8 a.m. and every Friday at 8 a.m. on my personal Instagram account. And I go on my video and I connect with some people, some friends. And we talk about topics that are important to our business. Experiences that we share on some of the most trending and relevant topics. And we inspire each other to stretch ourselves and to lift others. For the week ahead, to share what we learned the week prior, and then for the weekend ahead as well. So, a lot more people are going to have to get used to it and practice, because for me, it's also a practice. By going on these lives on Instagram, it's practice. And right now, it's coming in quite handy. But I still feel this fatigue from Zoom, even though I'm somewhat used to being on video. I'm still mastering and fine-tuning a lot, but there is really no point, I think, in allowing people not to be on video or not holding them accountable to being on video. When you hold people accountable to being on video, they know that they're going to have to be dressed, they'll have to prepare, and they'll have to consider working from home like really working also. But it's really it's a cumulative effect of Zoom meetings back to back that really drains our energy. Not all meetings are meant to be via Zoom. Number one, all Zoom meetings should encourage people to share their videos, because that allows you to connect. Number two, take breaks between Zoom meetings. 15-minute breaks, 10, 15-minute breaks. Limit your Zoom activity to 60 to 90 minutes. Stretch out. Number four, get up. Don't require people to be seated only. Get up and move. When you talk, when you present, when you communicate, even when you listen on your Zoom meetings as well. Be natural. Communicate better. And number five, fifth point that I'll make is that it's not going to be easy. You need to adapt, transition. So practice. Practice a little bit more with video. Practice making the lens becoming your friend. Because when you talk to the lens, even though it's not natural to do so, people connect with you more. Because what's natural for you to do often is to look at the images, the other people. But look at them when you're not talking. But when it's your turn to talk, don't look at their video screens or their images or their profile, avatars, what have you. But look into the lens as much as you can. And that's the difficult part. So you need to plan accordingly. Those are some of my thoughts, guys. Let me know how you zoom in and out. And I wish you a great, great week ahead.